Good morning, everyone. It's film day, TV series day, and I've got some on with me. Yeah, some fella is on with me. The music man. He comes usually on a Monday with me on my history show, talking all about music. And it's Derek Shelmerdine, and he loves films like myself. So we'll bring him in right now. Good morning, Derek.
Morning, Frank. Good to see you again.
Oh, you're on a Monday, aren't you, as well?
That's right. This coming Monday, we're taking a look at pop and rock songs that have got their roots in classical music, and it's quite
Classical.
fascinating when you start to delve into it. It really is.
Yeah, yeah. I remember saying, about the classical. I love classical music. I love me opera and things like that. And people look at me with a strange look and go, "You like classical and opera?" Yeah. But that'll be fascinating on Monday. But that's for Monday night, and I can't wait really, to talk about how the classics evolved into the pop culture. I can't wait for that. Really can't.
Absolutely.
So anyway, Gary Rigby. I don't know where there he is. There he is. Yeah. And he says, "Good morning, Frank. Good morning, Gary. Hope you're well, mate." I've just got a few films which I've been looking at that you can actually get on YouTube, and some of them are brilliant,
Yeah.
absolutely brilliant. There's uh, there's Colin Firth's The Kingsman, and it's a fun sort of about spies and whatever, and it's
Yeah.
really good. And he's a great actor, as Colin Firth. I've got the Ministers, and that's Harvey Keitel, and it's about killers, you know,
Yeah.
the Ministers, and it's really good. It's really good. I've got the Tall Man, which is a bit of a horror, which is a bit of a horror, but
Right.
it's good. It's
Yeah.
good. Good twist in it. And Fall, it's just called Fall, and that's really good. It's one of those films where it just starts off, Derek, where you see like a couple of climbers, this flat-faced mountain,
Yeah.
obviously in America, and the boyfriend, girlfriend sort of thing, and the lad falls. He falls to his death, unfortunately, and the story starts from there. The story starts from there. The girl can't get over the death of her
Right.
boyfriend.
Yeah.
But, it starts from there. It's a very good film,
Yeah.
actually. I've got Ironclad. Now, Ironclad is one of those films that is in the past. It's in the past. It's really good. One of those medieval sort of films. And
Right.
it's a really good film. And I like James Purefroy. Purefroy. I don't know whether it's Purefroy or Purefroy. I don't know how you pronounce it. It's a strange name. And he's the star, and it's really good. It really is. I've got it there, and Solomon Kane. He's in that as well. Solomon Kane's a
Right.
really good film.
Yeah.
So I've got some smashing films to talk about. Also, there's a film with stellar cast actually. Ray Liotta, John Cusack,
All
and
right.
it's called Identity.
Yeah.
So talk about that a little bit later. And these are all on YouTube.
Yeah.
These are all on YouTube, which is quite surprising, actually.
Yeah. It
It's
is.
quite surprising. And as Gary Rigby says, can I recommend a Norwegian film called Elling? It's a brilliant dark comedy. There's some smashing, Gary. There are some smashing Norwegian films, and you
Yeah.
can get one on there called the 12th Man
All
on
right.
YouTube. And it's a really good true story as well. It's a true story about the Second World War, you know. And it's the actor there is absolutely amazing. You know, you've got to watch it to understand the acting of this film, this particular star in it. I haven't a clue who he is, you know, but it's really good. And you know, Gary, yeah, recommends anything you want, Ellie. And as I said, you know, if you get the 12th Man, and that's on YouTube too. It's not that I watch your films, Derek, on YouTube, you know, I do have streams. But do you think, Derek, and I'd like to you this, do you think that films, say like from, I love the old vintage films, you know, I love the propaganda ones going back to the Second World War. I love them. I really do. And, you know, I was watching one last night, Our Day Will Come.
Yeah.
And it's about Norway, strangely enough. It's about Norway, but you have the great British stalwart actors in it, you know, the likes of Ralph Richardson, Deborah Kerr as well. Deborah Kerr's in it. She plays a young Norwegian girl.
Oh, there were some great movies made in the 40s, sort of there or thereabouts about the war. Like One of Our Aircraft is Missing, and one of my all-time favourites, The Life and Death of Colonel Blimp.
Brilliant.
I think that's an absolutely brilliant story.
Absolutely. And isn't it strange, though, Derek, you know, The Life and Times of Colonel Blimp. Blimp. It was colour. Because normally they were always in black and white. And that was brilliant. Because
the first line was colour. So it's interesting. I mean, colour was just sort of coming into its own, I think, in the very late 30s. But a lot of the 50s movies were black and white. I mean, you know, I know we're talking about UFOs a bit tonight. And there's, of course, a whole genre of 50s sci-fi movies. Some horror, not necessarily horror. And they were virtually, I think they were all in black and white. Incredible. And the Ealing comedies, of course, from that sort of time, they were all in black and white.
The Ealings, unbelievable. And there's always seems to be Alec Guinness in those. I think Alec Guinness, you know, you take Alec Guinness, like today, put it this way, today, and you'll always find him like a serious actor. You know, like Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, and at the bridge on the River Kwai, you know, because he always played those sorts of serious roles. But he was a great comedic actor.
Oh, he was fabulous. I mean, the Late Killers and things like that. Absolutely. I think that was what he played, about 4 parts.
Yeah. I think he played more. I think it's about 7.
It could well have been more, 4. I know it was at least 4. It might well have been 7 or something.
Absolutely brilliant. And that was the versatility of such a wonderful actor. I'll see what the lads are saying here. You say, Gary Rigby, I've heard of the 12th Man. I didn't know it was Norse. Yeah, it's a true story, Gary. You want to watch it. It's a cracker. It really is. A cracking film. Highly recommended by me. And Ian Max says, more than Frank and Derek, see Salem's Lot remake is being released in October. Doubt it will match the 79 Toby. I love that director, Toby. Fantastic. And, you know, his version starring David Soul, James Mason and Bonnie Bedelia. No, I don't think so either, because that was unbelievable. Did you ever see that Salem's Lot? You know,
yeah, I did see it quite a while ago now. But yeah, it's one of those classics. It really is, and it's one of those films you can go back to. And it's often good to go back to a film or a book, because often when you know roughly what the plot is and the kind of general gist of what's coming next, you pick up different things. You pick up whole different nuances and some of the more subtle aspects that you just don't necessarily pick up first time around, because you're concentrating more on, the big picture, as it were. It's great. I love. I mean, some films I watch, a few times.
Well, yeah, of course. It's like I'll tell you what you've watched a few times. I'll tell you. I bet you've watched Hitchcock a few times. Any of the Hitchcock
Oh,
films,
yeah.
and the likes of The Bridge Too Far.
Oh,
The likes of that. And it is, and you can get A Bridge Too Far on YouTube too. It's amazing what you can find on these channels. Great comedy ones as well. You've got the likes Doctor in Clover.
Oh, the Doctor series were great.
Oh, that's you have the Fenella Fielding, right?
Yes.
And there's a scene in it. And do you ever remember what's his bloody name? Arthur Ames. Arthur Ames. Right. No, he was a deadpan.
Knocking bullets.
Yeah, unbelievable. And Arthur Ames is, he stands and he's a patient in the hospital.
Right.
And Fenella Fielding is brought in by, she's a ballerina and she's brought in by these other ballet dancers, fellas, they're all like that. The way they go right over the top. And anyway, you see her and she's walking around on a crutch. And she says to Arthur Haynes is just standing there, in his pajamas. And she said, "Hello, darling." He went, "Oh," like that. And she went, "Would you mind holding my crutch?" And he looks around like that. And he puts his hands out like that. Excuse me. But anyway, he holds his hands out and she just stands him a crutch, that she's using, and he just looks around. But it's that type of innuendo.
Yeah.
That's involved in all these like Doctor films, including the Carry On films.
Yeah, exactly.
Including the Carry On films, Terry.
Oh, brilliant.
Did you enjoy,
Well, absolutely. All of them. I mean, the early ones particularly. Carry On in the first one. And then there was Carry On Nurse, Carry On Doctor, Carry On Policeman in the early days. And the double entendres of that era, I mean, you just don't get that kind of humour anymore, sadly. But they were just so funny. I mean, Sid James, what a great actor. You Carry On Cowboy could almost be a serious film.
Well, I always remember you mentioned Sid James. I forget who this was. I really do. And they were in an interview, like Parkinson or someone like that. And they're talking, and Sid James's name came up. It was I think it was one of the Carry On crew, one of the Carry On actors. And they said, Sid, oh yeah, lovely man, really genuine. He said, "Did you know that every time he wore a cap, he had to screw it on like that?" And the interviewer went, I don't get you. He said, "Well, do you know all the lines he had here?" He said, "Was that to screw the hat on?" Just nice out the blue, So funny.
Well, those Keith Richards lived in faces.
Yeah, and that's what you like. Yeah, it's something to lift you.
Absolutely.
Anyway, let's see. Yusuf. Good morning, Frank and Derek.
Hi, Yusuf.
And Gary Rigby says the remakes are never as good as the Wicker Man and Get Carter. Yeah, I totally agree with you there because the Wicker Man, the original, the 72 or 73 version.
Brilliant film.
Yeah, brilliant film. And then you have Nicolas Cage, who did a remake, obviously American, they have the remake. And again, American remake of Get Carter, because that was Michael Caine, wasn't it? Edward Woodward was in the Wicker Man. Yeah. That was the original. Really good film. But yeah, you're right there. remakes are very hard to do.
Yeah.
Very hard.
Very occasionally they are good. I mean, the Carpenter, The Thing, the remake of the 50s black and white SF film. I mean, and the special effects were a lot better. But I wouldn't say it was better than the original because, it's very much in context of its time. But the remakes of The Fly and The Thing, I think, were stand out as really good movies. But I would certainly agree, in general, remakes very, very seldom come anywhere near the original.
No matter who you get today, no matter who you get today, I'll just, I'll just, I'll just, it's hard to put this. You can get the best comedy actors like today, British I'm talking about. Now just imagine if they were going to remake, say, Carry On Camping, for example.
Yeah.
It'd never work.
It wouldn't work.
It wouldn't work because who could take over Kenneth Williams and Charles Hawkins?
Or
Barbara, any of them?
I mean, that brass scene, you just couldn't redo that. It would mean nothing now. At the time, it was just like so much of its time. It was just so funny.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, there's a question for you.
Oh,
Derek,
yeah.
can you recommend any good music documentaries? I watched the Ramones End of the Century, brilliant film.
Yeah, there's a great one. It's a sort of series as well on Phil Spector on one of the channels in about 3 parts. And if you're into Spector, it's really, really good. Leonard Cohen, I actually saw that at the cinema, so it must be a relatively new release. I can't remember what the film was called, but it was about the life and times. Well, it was more about the song Hallelujah. So the sort of central core running through was about the song, but it's very much about the life and times. And what I hadn't realised, he had to go back on the road at the age of about 80 because his manager took all his money. So in the last years, I hadn't realised that. In the last couple of years of his life, he was on the road because he needed to earn money again. I mean, so many people have been ripped off by
their
man. I mean, there is.
Well, even Sting was, wasn't he? I think Sting, 6 million quid went out of his, his bank account or whatever by his, I don't know whether it was his agent or his manager.
Yeah,
Sting, I'm going back a few years ago. So no matter who you are, no matter how, even if you're intelligent, it's
Jerry
usually...
Lewis is one of his daughters. I think it was Mara Gale, the legendary 13-year-old wife. She was his manager in the sort of early 2000s, I think. And he ended up suing her because her and her husband ripped Jerry Lee Lewis off.
You're joking.
Performing, very much into his late 70s. Absolutely incredible.
That is incredible, that. His first, his wife, 13-year-old. Can't do it. And they still can do that in the States.
Yeah, absolutely.
States,
if you're into Bowie as well, there's a movie of his last ever concert as Ziggy Stardust. And famously,
really?
Yeah, it's at the Hammersmith Odeon. I forget the exact date. But it was the last outing of Ziggy Stardust. And famously, at the end of that particular concert, he announced that you will see me no more. And everybody thought he just announced David Bowie's retirement from the music business. What he was announcing was that he was retiring Ziggy Stardust.
It's incredible, isn't it? What you find, especially with you on the Monday evenings, I love them. I love them, and I can't wait for Monday night. I really can't. I was only saying that to Jay last night. He phoned me up, and about Mondays. I've got to send him on something, and I forgot all about it. It just reminded me. I fell asleep anyway, so that's my excuse. I fell asleep during the evening. Will P. Morning, Frank Carlyle and Derek. Sorry I've missed a few shows. No problem, Will. Will and I, we go onto a stream in Greenland, and I just like to relax me. And but these are all not train, plane spotters. I haven't a clue about planes. I just like looking at the passengers, getting on, and the way the ground crew work as well. Some great people, the ground crew. Especially with invalids. Getting on planes, they don't half help. They're really good, and that's what I like. Yeah, looking at with Will. But anyway, it carries on by saying, love the Carry On films, great laughs, of course. Of course, that's what it was all about.
2 dozen of them, weren't there? They were doing a lot of them.
Yeah.
26, I think.
Yeah. They were so daft. Gels off.
I mean, the relationships, Hattie Jakes and Sid James were off together.
Yeah.
And Jim Dale appeared in a few.
Jim Dale, yeah.
He was having hit singles at the time as well. He's another one of these really versatile guys.
And they always seem to have like a glamour girl all the time.
Oh, absolutely.
I was trying to think of one, and I just can't think. And it's a certain one, it's a certain Carry On film, and it was so funny. Carry On Camping, right? Carry On Camping.
That's right.
It's just where Bernard Breslau and Sid James, pulls up to the camp, and there's a big gate. It's just a farmer's yard. It's a farm. But anyway, they pull up with the 2 girlfriends, and there's a fella just leaning on the gate like that. And he goes up to him, Sid James. He goes, "Are you the owner?" He said, "No, the owner's just gone for the pee." And he went, "Oh, just like that, Anyway, the owner comes back, Peter Butterworth. And he comes back with a letter P, and he puts it on this board, pass must be shown, the P for the pass. Yeah. But it's just the way it flows. It's just the way it flows, no matter what Carry On. Yeah. Even, I forget what Carry On it was, but the other fella, Kenneth Williams, he's a surgeon, and his name is Dr. Carver.
The names are great. I loved Carrying Up the Piper as well, where they made a whole subplot about the fact that Scottish guys don't wear anything under their kilts, and it became a major part of the whole plot. They just used several sort of side gags based around that. It's just so funny.
Yeah, the script writers. Gerald Thomas, wasn't it, one of them? That's absolutely brilliant. Where they got these ideas from? Yeah. Amazing. Here, Max says, "Agree, Gary. I can't recall a recent remake ever getting close to the original. Now it's all CGI, and you lose the feel and realism that the original productions brought." Yeah. That's a cracker. That's a clever comment. It really is, because it's so right. I can't recall. I always remember Vince Vaughn in the remake of Psycho, and it was word for word. It was the exact, and it was pathetic. Yeah, from the original black and white version, Hitchcock's version. And I just thought, why? It was weird. It was ridiculous.
It does make you wonder. I think you had exactly the right word there, Frank. Why? Because, particularly with a film like Hitchcock's Psycho, it is just a complete one-off experience. It's so part of its time. That's so part of the Hitchcock body of work that nobody in their right mind would attempt to remake a film like that. Absolutely crazy idea. Never been in the box office.
Yeah, yeah. Some good comments on here, by the way.
Absolutely.
Um, Although I did enjoy the Stallone version of Get Carter when I watched it for the first, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, to be honest, because it was set in America.
Mm.
Whereas Get Carter, I don't like Michael Caine. I know it's, but I've never liked him for some reason. I've liked him in a few films, you know, the likes of Zulu, for example,
He was great.
the likes of The Eagle Has Landed. You know, I liked him in that. But
You're only supposed to blow bloody doors off. One of the classic lines, I think.
oh, that was the Italian job, wasn't
Big
it?
job, yeah, when they got all the gold bullion, gold bullion all slides to the front, which is hanging over a precipice.
Yeah.
So if they attempt to get it, almost certainly the coach is going over. But that is, I'm not a big fan, to be honest, of his either. But I did love Zulu. I really did.
Well, as Gary says, there was a new Carry On film with Julian Clary. It was embarrassing. Yes, that's what I mean. You couldn't.
Columbus, I think it was.
You couldn't do it today. You really couldn't.
No.
And,
funny, Will Hay, I mean, talking Carry On, Charles Hawtrey is always one of the funny characters in Carry On films. And he started out, as you probably know, with Will Hay in those early Will Hay movies, particularly when Will Hay was playing the part of a school teacher, because that's another sort of era.
I've got one down. I've got one Will Hay down. And you get us on YouTube, Convict 99. And he's ripped at them two other fellas, you know.
They're just so good.
Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
So funny. Really.
It's so funny. And Gary says to Ian, you know, I'll give us another watch. That's Get Carter, you know, where they're Sly Stallone in. I don't mind Sly. I don't mind him, you know. And Gary Rigby says, got back from Norway on Monday, didn't see the Northern Lights, but guess what? My mate sends me pictures of them happening now.
Sadistic mate, obviously.
It's Sod's Law, isn't it? It's Sod's Law. Peter Butterworth was so funny in his Carry On roles. Great actor. Yes. Yes, says here, Mike. Darryl Merry. Morning, everyone. Morning, Darryl. Hope you're okay, mate. Hope you're okay. And here, Max says, good shout by Derek there. The Fly with Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis was superb back in the late. Yes, that was it.
I mean, Man and Wife. Yeah, you did compare it with the original. It wasn't a sort of remake in a way. It was just
it wasn't.
The story told again.
Yeah.
Its own way. And it was. I thought that was a brilliant film.
It was Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis. They were married at the time, you know.
All right, I didn't know that.
They were married to each other.
Yeah.
Good actor there, Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, I think so.
Good actor. And Richard, hi Frank and guest and chat. How are you all doing? Like the comment, subscribe and share. You guys are intelligent and knowledgeable people.
Wow.
Many thanks.
Thank you.
You know, you guys are there, intelligent and knowledgeable. I think it's just what you know.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of looking at various things. That's why I'm a historian first and foremost, and I love films. I love TV series. I love me music. I love current affairs. So it's everything, you know. Someone said to me once, you know, would you ever think of going to, they didn't realize, you know, that, anyway. So would you ever think of going to see an opera? I said, I've been to see operas. You know what I mean? Like the likes of Verdi and and BJ, seen there. I've seen, I forget the bloody title now. I forget the title. I feel ashamed. That's it. Forget the title. That's it. Just forget it. But I have been. I have. I just enjoy it, and that's the way it is. That's the way. I was brought up in a household where classical music was played. Classical music. You know what I mean? The likes of, tell you what, Derek, the likes of, uh, not Nessun Dorma, for example, that was played on our piano when I was a kid. Nessun Dorma. You see what I mean? So that's how I grew up. That's how I grew up. My mother was a great pianist, and my uncle Frank.
Sometimes in movies, really use some classical pieces to great effect. I was thinking of Ode to Joy, Beethoven's Ninth in Clockwork Orange. I mean, that the music there it's just contrasting with what's going on. I thought that was really smart use of an original piece of music.
Yeah.
And then you got people like John Williams, a classical guitarist. I mean, he wrote so many film scores, like Jaws, that famous Jaws riff. Incredible.
John Williams. You've only got to go, that's it. 2 notes, and you'll know what the film is.
Exactly.
It's incredible. Incredible what music brings to a film, as you just said, the likes of yours. And it's coming when it's going.
About things that are around the corner when that starts.
Yeah.
But you see how important music is to films, because back in the days of silent movies, there was a pianist or organist, pianist usually, I think, in the cinema, actually playing background to it. Exciting chases in cowboy films or something. They would step up the music. So it's always been part and parcel, I think, of building the tension. The music's almost as important as the acting and the dialogue in some parts of a film.
Have you ever seen a film called Knowing?
No, I haven't.
It's fantastic. It's one of my favourite films of all time, and it's about an astrophysicist, working at the university and whatever, and he's a widower, and he's got a little boy, and he's at school, Anyway, and his dad's a pastor. His wife died, and I'm not giving too much away if you haven't seen it. It's a really good film. So he turns against religion, because he felt nothing when his wife died, his wife perished. He felt nothing. Well, she was away on business, that is. And he always thought that you would feel something. Obviously, if there's a God, if you know what I mean. And his son, who's at school, it's the end of term and whatever, and they give letters out at the end. The teachers give letters out to all the kids, these little kids, and he gets a letter. And all it got, it's not a letter as such, it's envelopes what kids drew, because it went in the teacher says, to all these kids, I want you to I want you to draw what it'll be like in 50 years' time. Yeah. So anyway, they're all drawing, but you get one girl, a young girl, and she's just writing numbers, all numbers down. Anyway, 50 years later, the capsule's taken up, and all the stuff's in there, these like envelopes and things. So they get them out to the kids, and Nick Cage he plays the astrophysicist, and Nick Cage's son takes this, envelope, And he brings it home, and he says to his dad, "What are these?" And his dad just looks at him and he said, "I don't know, son, whatever." Anyway, it starts from there. These numbers. It's a fabulous film.
Yeah.
It's a fabulous.
Let's check that out. Sounds good.
It says, honestly, you won't be disappointed, put it that way. You won't be disappointed. I'm telling you now, you will not be disappointed because it's that good. And Ian Max says, "Hi, Darrell, I hope you're okay, mate." Will Peace says, "The Carry On films were absolutely brilliant. The cast worked so well together, even though in real life, a lot of them didn't get on well at all." That's true, That's true. Maybe, as I said, when one of the actors in the Carry On said about Sidney James screwing his hat on because of the lines. Maybe he didn't get on with him, poking fun. And Ian Mack. I remember back in the 80s, the soundtracks to movies were brilliant and as important as the movies. Yeah, you could buy them in HMV or Woolies. That seems to have disappeared over the last 20 years. Well, getting back to that knowing, you've got Bach, Sebastian Bach, his music, it's fantastic. Beethoven, it's incredible. It really is. It's so, as I said, it does make films. Music does make films, strangely enough.
I mean, Wagner Ride of the Valkyries in Vietnam film.
Yeah.
It's on the tip of the tongue, not Deer Hunter, the other classic. Apocalypse Now. Absolutely incredible. And I love around that time in the film, Robert Duvall, I think it is. There's this young lad who doesn't. Robert Duvall's brought some surfboards with him, and they're surfing on Delta, I suppose. And one particular lad, because there's bombing going on, machine gun fire going on in the background, he's not particularly keen to go out surfing. And Robert Duvall says to him, "Do you want to surf? Or do you want to fight, boy?" Off he goes. I love the smell of the bomb in the morning. It's around that scene.
Well, Apocalypse Now, when it was first thing in the morning, and you see what's going on in the background,
yeah.
And Robert Duvall comes out with his cavalry hat on and goes, "I just love the smell of napalm in the morning."
Absolutely. Classic line.
Just to say that about napalm, it was shocking. It really was.
Yeah.
There's a film called, and I want people to watch this. Where is it? I have got it written down. I want to get the title right. The Day After. The Day After.
Yeah.
And it was done in the 80s. It was done in the 80s. And it's incredible. And it's about it's what's going on today, put it that way. We're on the precipice of something. And just a nuclear attack. But you see them saying, "No, they haven't done it. No, they wouldn't be that stupid. No." And you just see, going over to each country, and the after effects. It's frightening.
Doesn't bear thinking about.
No.
I mean, they're the winners.
And this was done in the 80s. Jason Robards is in it, and he plays a doctor. And it's just shocking. It's shocking. It's frightening. It really is. The Day After, and that's on YouTube, people. Get onto it.
we've lived on the edge of this since the Cuban Missile Crisis back in the early 60s.
Well, I don't know why, go on.
No, I was just thinking, apart from the Glasnost period where the East and West tried to get on for a few years, we seem to be way back to just where we were at the height of the Cold War. It's worse than it ever was in the Cold War.
Of course it is. See, the Cold War, people were afraid of each other. Countries I'm talking about. When Gorbachev became leader, and he decided he got hold of Bush. Was it Bush? Was it him?
I think.
And he said, "Listen, what if I pull what if we go? What if I disband the whole of the Soviet Union?" And he went, "Wow." He said, "The wall will come down, the Berlin Wall. Germany can go back to Germany, and that's it." So he said, "Wow, yeah, do that." He said, "I'll do that on one condition." He said, "NATO won't step further eastward towards Russia." And he went, "No problem." Now, there has been arguments over why did America go against its word, and what the excuse was. Oh, it wasn't written down. And I think that's pathetic. That's pathetic. See, what America wants to do, and I wish they'd make a film of it. I really wish they would make a film, because all America wants to police the world. But it's just like the British Empire. We made an empire, but we were taking all the resources of that, that country, whatever country we went in. We took the resources from there, and that's it, if you know what I mean. And America's the same. America wants to police the world. They're everywhere. They're all around the world. And this is why Russia is saying, "Hang on a minute, you're not coming on our doorstep in Ukraine." Because that Blinken's just come out the other day and said that Ukraine will become a member in NATO. And this is what's going on today is all about. And, so it's just horrible. I blame the Americans. I blame the Americans for everything, because they want to police the world, and they've got no chance of policing the world. They want to police China and Russia. They want to go into Russia for its resources. Why are they in Ukraine? I'll tell you for why. There's a fellow by the name of Lindsey Graham, a senator, horrible war hawk. And he said, there's 14 trillion worth of resources in Ukraine, and we want it. That's what he said last week. We want it. That's why they're there. That's why they're poking the big bear. But they're not budging. They're not budging Russia. Sorry to go on there, but I was just trying to clear up a couple of things. Charlie Woods, I think they've all left. So Charlie Woods, good morning, chaps. I always forget about this show. Well, at least you're here. Knowing will pay. Knowing one of Nicolas Cage's greatest films. He's done so many flops. I'll tell you why he's done flops, and it's only recently. It's because he owes millions to the RSA. I don't know what they call it over there in America, but anyway, it's actually owes about 14 million. So he's doing all these films. I think he's doing about 3 a year, just to pay it off. Because what he doesn't want to sell, he's got collateral there, by the way. He said, "We'll take that." And do you know what it is? You're going to love this. He's got an old Beatles original collection.
Oh, wow.
He went to, where did he go? There was three there was 3 signatures missing on some album. You know, someone just brought an album down to the town and signed. And it was while Ringo Starr. While Ringo Starr was ill, and they got a drummer in.
Yeah.
Do you ever remember that? They brought this drummer in, whoever he was, because he was ill. And someone must have been there and went, oh, yeah, can you sign them? You know, the thing. But there was only 3 signatures. There was only Paul McCartney, John Lennon, and George Harrison. So anyway, he found out where Ringo Starr lived and went over to town to his house and went, do us a favour, can you sign that? He said, yeah, sure, signed it. So, but he's got these, he's got the Beatles, and also, which is his pride and joy as well, which is, and it's worth millions apparently. He's got all the original, you know, all in pristine condition, by the way. Superman comics, the first editions.
Yeah. They're worth a lot of money.
Oh,
And I think back to my school days, I used to trade them. I think what my mother always said, that the reason I failed 11 plus was because I was too busy swapping my American comics. She might well have been right. I wish I'd hung on to them though. I mean, these were, so we're now talking the very late 50s, very early 60s. So they would be worth a small fortune now. Absolute fortune.
yeah. It just shows you, doesn't it? You know, what we get rid of.
Oh.
You know, you just go, yeah, that's, you know, you just get rid of them for some reason. I've got postcards here, strangely enough. I've got postcards here. And these postcards are worth money. These postcards are worth money. Right? That's St. George's Hall. But in the when you put this particular card, say it's a postcard, see, it's a postcard,
yeah.
And when you put it up to the light, there's the moon there, right? And when you put it up to the light, the moon shines, and you can just about see here to see a tram.
All right, yeah.
It's lit up. You see that lights up, and light. See these lights as well here.
Clever.
And here, lights. They all lights up. Everything lights up, and that's worth a lot of money.
Yeah, very nice.
The stamp's still on it.
Yeah.
See, so I have lots of wonderful postcards, which is phenomenal for me, to be honest. Like this one, this is a very rare one. It might be hardly to see it, and it's the building of the Anglican Cathedral.
All right.
And it's a very rare one. And there's the stamp. The stamps are on it. I don't know how, but anyway, everything's there. And they're very rare. They're all in pristine condition, by the way. They're all worth a lot of money, every one of them. So I've collected things like that over the years.
Yeah.
Got loads of them. Yeah, there's one for you, Derek. Good Morning Vietnam. What a soundtrack and album that is.
Yeah, Robin Williams.
So yours, go on, carry on.
Oh, it's just such a great film. I mean, as a DJ, he's just playing all the kind of stuff that his officers keep telling him that he shouldn't be playing. And it fitted in. There was a whole era around that time when with Vietnam films, Full Metal Jacket, and the like. And no, that is absolutely right. I mean, it is a great soundtrack album.
Yeah, Robin Williams.
Yeah,
he's the DJ. But you know, let's be honest. Lots of people, like myself, just wanted to hear the music.
Absolutely.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Just go down a very couple of comments here. Charlie Woods, I'll just mention these things here. the music in films these days drowns out the voices sometimes, and you can't hear what the characters are saying. Yeah, you lose track of the narrative. To be honest, you really do. You don't know what they're saying, and you know what? I can't stand films where they whisper. I haven't a clue what they're saying.
Oh,
The
exactly.
whisper. So you could lose like a little thread of
Yeah.
what the film's all about.
I find it annoying. Well, I find it annoying as well. If you're watching a movie in late evening and you've got the volume on the TV up to hear the dialogue, and then the music comes in, and it is 10 times louder than the dialogue. So unless you want your neighbours knocking on the door, I'm forever turning the music down and the dialogue up.
Yes, yes, yeah. Do you know what sometimes I've done? Rather than turn the music up, like where I live as well, is subtitles.
Absolutely.
And I've missed something, where the stupid's whispering. So I've gone back to what they've been saying, but I put the subtitles on, so I find out what they're saying. And it is important, when they whisper.
Yeah.
Why are they whispering? And as Charlie says, there's music in the background too, so it makes it worse. IBR says we are liable for Ukraine war debt, and the 12 billion figure is a complete lie, as it will be billions, and every UK citizen will end up paying Ukraine's war debt. Absolutely. I try telling that to people, but they won't believe me. So they blame Russia, because they don't know why Russia went into Ukraine in the first place. Don't forget, there's always a reason. People just don't go in. I go back when I was lecturing about the Roman Empire and why they invaded here in AD 43, the Claudian invasion. It was a motive, it was a reason to go, because there's a fella named Verica, and he came over. He was a client king over here to the Romans, and he went over to Rome. He said, they're trying to take, not the Romans, his own people, different tribes, ancient tribes at the time. And they said, can you help me? Because these are the tribes that are trying to take over my land and my people and to enslave us. So the Romans went, yeah, okay, because they were what you call client kings to them. So they went, and in AD 43, you had the Roman invasion. The point I'm making is you always have to have a reason. You can go to any war. There's always a reason. You go back to Poland with the Blitzkrieg, and that was it. The British declared war on Germany because it was a sovereign state. So you see, there's always a reason to declare wars. You just don't go in. I hope that resonates with people. And there was a big reason why. Why? Horrible people, the Banderites. Look up what the Banderites are. The Banderites, the horrible people, the Nazis. That's what they are, Nazis. And they've got Nazi brigades called the Azovs in Ukraine, the Ukrainian army. Horrible people. And Charlie says, Jimmy Nicholas, who's Jimmy Nicholas?
He's the drummer. It's Nichols, actually. Yeah, I'm trying to think of his name. That's the Ring of tonsillitis, and they were just about to. They were just about to embark on their first world tour, and he had to go into hospital. So Jimmy Nichols stepped in.
The Beatles, yeah.
World tour. He was a Beatle for a fortnight, I think, about 2 weeks.
Oh, that's great, that. Thank you.
Oh, that's just jogged my memory. It's been driving me mad since you mentioned it, because I don't.
Oh, he's getting, yeah.
He can't get it out.
Well, look, that's why, honestly, no matter what, whether it's history, whether it's, let's put it this way, uh, issues that concern us today, current affairs, and the likes of IBR Stella, and it's things that resonate with people. And they say, well, hang on a minute, and as IBR Stella says about a certain thing in Ukraine, and also Jimmy Nicholas, it's great because they're well clued up. That's why I love our lads on the chat. I really do. And
he's got a link to Tommy Steele as well, because he started out with Tommy Steele's brother Colin Hicks in a skiffle group called Colin Hicks and the Cabin Boys. And then he was with Georgie Fay briefly just before he joined the Beatles for a couple of weeks. Then he had his own band after the Shub Dubs. He had a couple of singles. But, even after that 2 weeks of fame, he never really managed to find fame after that in his own right.
What? You love this, don't you? You love this because you're like back to your music. And it's only once, what I said before about Nick Cage. I said, you love this. And it's about a Beatles album, and he went to Ringo Starr to get it signed. Do you know what, my mate, big Beatles fan, he's got memorabilia, and he used to teach. I think he's retired like myself now. Sociology. Anyway, he went down. Ringo Starr was at with the Empire with his All Stars. Anyway, he was in the queue, and the lads were going in, and he was there. He had his album, and he wanted his, a signature. This is my old mate, and this fella was standing next to him, and he got talking, waiting for Ringo Starr to come out. And he said, I was at school with Ringo, and this is true. He said, I was at school with Ringo, and I just want to say hello to him, and if he'd sign this. Anyway, they're coming out, and Mike went like that. This Mike Killow, he went, Ringo, please, can you sign this album? And he went, and this fella, who was talking, he went, all right, Richie. And he looked at him, he said, Richie, sign this for us. He said, oh, what do you want me autograph for? And jumped in the car and got off. What do you want me autograph for, stop lad? And jumped in the car and got off. Mike was standing there. He said, I'm sure you're going to sign it only for this fella. Who was sat with him at school. Incredible. It's just nuts, some of the things that you get told. Absolutely. Charlie, one day I had 2 suitcases full of DC comics in the 60s. My mum put them in the yard, and it rained for about a week. It was persisting. You must say pissing down. They ended up in the bill.
What a shame.
That's it. I got a book, first edition, worth a lot of money, and it felt a bit on me.
Oh.
It's just felt a bit. Everything is, wherever it's been, not by me, because I was looking after it. It decayed. It decays. You only have to not even open it, but touch it, and the spine was falling off. Pages were coming out. Everything, and I couldn't do anything with it. I just binned. I was really annoyed. I wanted to give it to Sophia, my granddaughter, to help, but it was no good. It was just decaying all the time, and it was a first edition.
That's a shame.
First edition. I've lost 2 first editions now. One for my 21st birthday, because I was studying at the time, Charles Dickens. And for my 21st, some lady gave me a first edition of Oliver Twist.
Wow.
with Dickens' signature on. And there was a lady who borrowed it off me. I'm young and impressionable, and she was a well-educated lady. Never ever seen it after that. I'll enter it.
Yeah.
Never ever seen it.
No.
Just imagine what that would be worth. And do you know what kind of paper it was? It was strange paper, you know. It was like, do you know, like tracing paper sort of thing, you know, very thin paper, you know, that the book was, you know, the print I'm talking about, not the cover or anything. And it was about that big. It wasn't, you know, like when you get bigger versions and whatever. It was small, compact, first edition. It was 1840, 42, I'm quite too sure. Anyway, signed, gone forever.
Yeah, absolutely. I always say never loan out books or records.
Well, albums can decay, can't they? If you leave them out, say, like on a windowsill or anything, or, you know.
Oh, yeah, they'll warp very easily. Yeah.
Loses its value.
Yeah, that's the thing about record collecting. I mean, the two key factors are firstly condition, and then secondly originality. You know, what particular design is the record label to show it's an early one or first pressings or whatever. Well, Paramount, as you're saying, the same with books. You know, condition is what it's all about. Massive difference to the value.
I've got something there. Like, it wouldn't interest you, but it'll interest the lads. It'll interest the lads who are football fans. And it's that. And that is the programme when Liverpool got to the European Cup final in Madrid.
Oh, wow.
And that signature there is Mo Salah's.
Wow.
And that's worth money too.
I bet it is.
It's pristine.
Yeah.
Pristine condition.
Yeah. You won't be low, Frank.
It's mad, isn't it? You know, the way we cannot. I've got things which is worth a lot of money. I've got something here. And it's Hessian. It's Hessian, this. I'll show you something. It's mad. I was looking at it the other day. And it's a road map of it in Midlands and Wales, you know, coming up to Liverpool, obviously.
Yeah.
And that's it. And the cartographer, can you see it? Yeah. And the cartographer who did it had written things on it. Had written like a time scale on it. But he was just doing it for the sake of doing it.
Yeah.
But again, that's worth a lot of money. It's Hessian. It's all Hessian. And I've got something here as well. This is absolutely amazing. Me to do that. And this is Hessian. But this is it's too big to show. But this is Greater Liverpool. And this is, I can't show you, I can't open it. It's massive. Yeah. It's massive. And it's 1701.
Wow.
1701 with the streets, you know, there's only a few streets at the time. And it's incredible.
Yeah.
but it's too big, to show folks. I was looking at them yesterday, and they were just there. That's why they're handy, just to pick up.
So can you recognise sort of many parts of modern Liverpool still intact, as it were, from a map? Or was most of it changed?
Yeah. That's what I was looking at. So I was looking at the likes of, Dale Street, right? It's just Dale Street. You see the sign today, Dale Street, but it wasn't. It was the Dale Street, the Dale, because it was a dale, you see.
Yeah.
And when I've shown people from the town hall, I say, you look down and you see it dipping, actually dips.
Yeah.
And that was the Dale. I say, hence the Dale Street. So there's things like that, yeah. It was really good. I had fun looking at it. And IBR Stella, the music has to enhance film's atmosphere, like the John Barry soundtrack that added so much emotion to the films. We were talking about that before, IBR. And you only have to go, and you know what we're talking about. You know what film it is.
Yeah.
And so.
I mean, you could give the bells for The Exorcist. I mean, that really
frightening, that.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant film. Hated it at the same time. There's a juxtaposition between brilliant film but frightening as well.
Oh, it was quite scary for its time, I think.
What's this film?
Could be The Great Escape.
Yes. No, the music in that.
Oh, it was great.
Damn. It just kicks off then, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Fantastic, musical stuff. Was that Elmer Bernstein?
I can't remember offhand, but it probably, I would think it probably was.
Absolutely, he was brilliant, Tim, wasn't he? Well, he's a cover version of one of my favourite things in Bernstein. I love Bernstein. He wasn't just like a conductor of his own music and modern day music. He was also a conductor of the classical music.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like one of my favourite pieces is the 1812 Overture, and he's done that. He's done Carmina Burana. He's done that. O Fortuna, which I love.
Oh, it's great.
So he's done all that, and that's why Bernstein, is such a wonderful composer. Yet he did, the classics as well, because he did the classics.
Yeah.
But the IBR Stella, it does set the emotions to the film.
It really lifts it as well. It drives the pace as well to a great. It's done properly. It really does.
Well, you think about it. Remember Dr. Zhivago? If anyone never cries, I don't care how tough you were. Where you see Omar Bayleaf, that's what I call it, a Bayleaf, and Julie Christie, and he's looking, and she's on the. Is she on the coach or is he on the coach? I forget now. The tram.
Around this, like the scene, pulling away.
And the music, tears everywhere. Get the Kleenex out. Absolutely brilliant, but it can, music can affect your emotions.
And sometimes the music almost becomes more famous than the film, like The Third Man.
The Third Man, and that music.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic!
Well, that's always running around in the back of your head somewhere.
Yeah, that's right. No, that's it.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Oh, unbelievable.
But Orson Welles, what an interesting character. I mean, started. I was Jack Warner that once said a film should always start with an earthquake and build up
Yes.
to the climax, and that was certainly Orson's career. Started off with the biggest film uh, he ever made. It's almost all downhill from there. Right, I do like a lot of his other films as well.
Oh, oh,
Citizen
fantastic.
Kane,
I loved him.
trying to figure out what Snowdrop was.
Did you ever watch the VIPs with him in?
Yeah,
What a film that was. Oh, you've got the great Orson Welles, always he always had like a disguise on, you've never seen the full Orson Welles. Right. And anyway, he played this German or Austrian, but he was a British citizen, if you know what I mean. And he was a director, and he had two people with him. One of them was a little fella, you go over there. You're not British. Go over there and knock you. There's a fella who works with him or whatever, producer, and because he's the director of a film. And the other one, the other cohort with him was of all people, and she was brilliant. She played a lady, and she was going to America to try and drum up some money to save her stately home. Margaret Rutherford.
oh, she was brilliant.
Those two together. But what a stellar cast.
Yeah.
What a stellar cast, Richard Burton and Liz Taylor, they were man and wife, and she was getting off. She was running off with her lover, who was Louis Jourdan, the great French actor.
Yeah, yeah.
Fantastic. Maggie Smith.
Yeah.
Maggie Smith, fantastic. Everyone in that particular film was one of the best films ever made.
Yeah.
Michael Hall Jane was the manager of the airport, and it was fog descended, and all of the flights were cancelled, and that's where the story really began.
Yeah.
The delays, absolutely fantastic film. Loved it.
He was brilliant. I mean, he used to do famously a 1 hour theatre show on the radio, and he frightened America to death.
Yes.
The worlds, because people thought it was done as though it was actually happening here and now as a broadcast, and a lot of people literally took it seriously and thought America had been invaded by Martians. There was absolute panic, absolutely incredible. I mean, I've never managed to hear. I'm not sure it was ever permanently recorded, that show, but I've heard the same show again with the same script on album, and it is just so good. You can imagine how, back in. We're talking the 30s. You're talking early days of radio.
Yeah.
And, you're talking about if you hear a newscast, there was no such thing as fake news in those days. If you hear what you think is a news broadcast, and they're saying that the country's just been invaded by whoever, even if they're from outer space, it's not surprising that people took it as seriously as they did, and it was some little while before it was realized that it was just a radio show.
Well, that's it, because people listened to radio plays.
Yeah.
At the time. And they still did up until the 60s, didn't they? Sitting in and,
Oh, yeah, I can remember Radio 4, Wednesday afternoons, the afternoon play. So I used to drive quite a lot in those days. What was nothing worse than you're 3/4 of the way through a damn good radio play, and you arrive at where you're going, and you have to get out and go off to a meeting. You never do find out what happens.
Yeah. But, getting back to that, Orson Welles, the people, they were just like putting their radios on, and and they've invaded, and and with his voice as well, he had a
Oh,
fantastic voice, very distinctive voice, and people started to believe it.
yeah.
And that's why they won't come out today and talk about, these people who have seen unidentified flying objects in the sky, from pilots to politicians to the likes of you, me, and ordinary people I'm talking about when I say you and me. And they just will not believe, won't come out and say what these things are, because if that broadcast, it'll cause panic. And I think it will. I mentioned a fellow, a US senator by the Lindsey Graham, a war hawk. I think he's an alien. I think he's talking about him landing. Anyway, Ian Mack, I love the Bourne films with Matt Damon. Thought they were well produced, and the locations around the world used in filming added to the atmosphere of each installment. I just watched recently on YouTube as well, Ian, the Bourne thing, but it's had Jeremy Renner. Because I always remember Matt Damon, he couldn't do this particular film, so they changed it around and it got Jeremy Renner in, and it was really good. I was watching it the other night. Really, really good. I like Jeremy Renner. I think he's a great actor. Have you ever seen a film? Yeah, let's just go down here. Let's see. Frank, my mum and dad got us them in the glow-in-the-dark 18-inch alien replica toys from their 79 Ridley Scottway. We trashed them as kids, as you do.
I used to crash out Graham said. It was so exciting. So often a dinky toy car would get stalled on the lines, and our Grange train set electric train would come hurtling round and crash into it.
How much do you think this is worth? How much do you think this is worth?
Oh, wow, is that an Iron Cross?
Yeah.
Wow. The value would depend
It's
on
Victoria.
Quite a bit, I would think.
It's worth a hell of a lot of money. It's in that.
There's a famous film, I can't remember which film it was now, it come to me in a minute, where he says something, and then I'll take you to where the iron crosses grow in some film. It was something like the Eagles Landing, but I don't think it was the Eagles Landing, but it was one of that sort of generation of films. I always think that's such a great line, I'll take you to where the iron crosses grow.
Well, the Iron Cross was the equivalent, to this.
VC.
The VC, was the equivalent. And to have an Iron Cross on your thing, that's where James Coburn had one, didn't he?
Yeah.
In cracking film. Sam Peckinpah directed it. It will come to me. It will come to me. Yeah. And someone will say it on me.
Oh, wow, what a great director.
Oh, unbelievable, Sam. Love them.
The Wild Bunch is something you can just watch over and over again. I know the film you mean, only what it's called. It'll come.
The Iron Cross, it's called.
Oh, it is called the Iron Cross, yeah.
Yeah. The Iron Cross. We mentioned it. It's called the Iron Cross. Will appreciate his answer on Ian Mack. He said, if you remember Space 1999, the original Eagle spaceships in their boxes are worth thousands now. I've got a pair of trainees never worn in the box. I wonder if they're worth a few bob.
It makes a big difference, these things, if they are in the original box, particularly dinky toys and the like.
I used to collect cars. Every time I went to Italy, I used to bring home the boxes, and I had them in the loft. they're all in the boxes, you know, from the likes of Ferraris, Lamborghinis, even to MGs,
All right.
you know, British cars. I had them like that size and to that size. And I had I think it was a 50s fire engine, and it was fantastic. British fire engine, fantastic. And I left them there. I had loads of them, so they'd be worth a few bucks a day. They'd be worth a few bucks a day. I
Absolutely.
used to have a few dinkies besides, you know, all in the boxes.
Yeah.
Charlie Wood says, you can't mention James Bond without humming the tune. Yeah. Incidentally, the tune was taken from an Indian tune nobody has ever heard of. Go away.
Didn't know that.
So it's crazy. It's plagiarized, is it? I can't imagine John Williams plagiarizing that, you know. Say again, it's music, isn't it? That you can identify the music.
Yes. Yeah. So it's just so associated with particular movies.
Yeah. What's your favourite? No. What's your? I only want you to name one.
Okay.
Right. What's your favourite piece of music in a film?
Probably Clockwork Orange.
Really? Really?
I love Beethoven. Love Joy.
Wow.
I in the context, it's just so much going on at so many levels for that. I don't know, 5-10 minutes or something.
Yeah. That's incredible. Do you know what mine is?
What's that?
That's my favourite.
Absolutely.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And you know the Hitchcock films, they always starts off, you know, like with the credits, always unusual credits, which were brilliant.
Mm.
And the music always seems to be sombre as well, always. And there's a film called Vacancy, modern day one, with Luke Wilson and Kate Beckinsale. And it's about a couple, you know, and the car like more or less breaks down, so they just find this motel.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So there's a vacancy, right? But the start of it is Hitchcockian. I mean, the credits, it's so Hitchcockian, it's unbelievable. And it's like a Hitchcock film, to be honest.
Yeah.
It really is like it's just called Vacancy.
I'll check that out.
Oh no, it's one of my faves. It's one of my faves actually. Vacancy, that's all it's called. And I'll have to call you. What's that? Carlyle Jones. It was Sven Hasselbuck, the Iron Cross. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. You got that though, didn't you?
Yes.
And as Charlie says, the Meccano made great cars. The details were brilliant these days. The cars kids have all look the same. Yeah, well, I had Burano. Hang on, was it Burano? I forget what it's called. These Italian makes. What I had, very expensive, by the way. And yeah, yeah. And I had this Bugatti, and it was about that big. Bugatti, about like that. Bugatti, black with silver trim.
Brilliant.
Oh, loved it.
Yeah.
I used to have it on the sideboard until she went, "Get that off." Put a photograph of a man there instead. So put my Bugatti back in the box, put it in the loft.
Yeah.
But I used to have loads of stuff like that.
I used to have a pedal car as a kid as well, and you go pedaling up and down the street. Oh, so much fun.
Yeah.
You didn't have to look out for cars because there weren't too many cars
No,
going.
that when we were kids, yeah. No, you could do that anywhere. Anyway, across the roads as well without looking, because there was hardly anything.
Well,
Hardly anything.
I lived in a cul-de-sac effectively, and we used to play cricket because there was a high enough wall to chalk some tickets on. I always remember 3 gardens and you're out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. We'll play Mission Impossible theme tune. Everyone knows the film from the, yes.
Yeah.
That's another great theme tune, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fantastic. I love the, you get all Mission Impossible and the John Wick franchise on YouTube. Incredible, you know.
It's amazing.
I like the Mission Impossibles. And Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson's in a cracking film on YouTube called Non-Stop. Non-Stop. He's an air marshal. You know, he's on board, you know, plane. Very good.
Yeah.
He's also in another one called The Commuter, where you just see him, you know, at the beginning, you see him, you know, the alarm goes off, he gets up and he's cooking breakfast, his wife gets up and he's got a son. And, you know, it's every day, but it's like a time-lapse thing, if you know what I mean. You know, from the summer to the winter to the fall, as they call it, you know, everything. And then the film starts, where you just say that to his wife, she drops him off at the train station.
Right.
And yes, you know, whatever it is, you know, the whatever they called over there, not a big train going from intercity, like the metro here, and you just see him getting on the train, and that's where it starts. But you see him like talking to people who he knows, who he travels with every day, you know, strangers, but they're just there, going to work at the same time, and it's very good. It's really good. Great twist as well at the end. It's called The Commuter.
Yeah.
Do you like clever films?
Yeah.
Write this down, and it's Nick Cage. It's called Family Man. Family Man. That's all it's called. It's a very clever film. Very clever, Derek.
Yeah, I haven't seen it for a while, but one of the films I really liked was Rashomon, Kurosawa. And what it is, there was it's a long time since I've seen it, but essentially, I seem to recall it's a sort of fight in the woods, and there were 4 different people involved, and it tells the story from each perspective. And you're watching a different story, and it's just so like you were talking earlier, basically. You know, there's always another point of view, as it were. And when you watch this, because you sort of see the incident, but then you realise you've seen it from a perspective, and then they go through the incident described by each of the people, and they're completely different. It's one of the films I haven't seen for a while. I keep telling myself I need to watch it again.
What's it called?
Rashomon. Kurosawa.
Yeah, okay. I'll have a go with that. Rashomon. Yeah, definitely. I like films like that.
Yo, so do I.
I love films that, you know, where you get your teeth into.
Yeah.
But, you know, the likes of Nick Cage, again. And it's a true story. And you get your teeth into this. And it's called On Frozen Ground. On Frozen Ground. It's brilliant, Derek. It's brilliant. John Cusack and Nick Cage.
Yeah.
Two great actors, honestly.
Yeah.
Two great actors. And, uh, when you look at a true story, I don't normally look at true stories, but some of them recently, the likes of Upon Frozen Ground and The 12th Man, are brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I don't mind. And there's another one. I don't know whether it's Swedish or no, it's Norwegian. It's Norwegian. And Will P gave me, like a little thing, and when he mentions Mission Impossible, because this Norwegian, is it Norway? Yeah, it's Norwegian film, and he's a Norwegian actor, this fella, but he's in loads of like English films, not English, like English speaking films. That is, and he was in Mission Impossible, this fella, and he's in a film called Quake, 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 and it's earthquake,
Yes.
Fabulous. Now, when it first came out, I couldn't work out my subtitles on my telly. Now, here's how good it was. I watched it, and it was in Norwegian, and just listening and looking at the scene, and you could follow it. It was that good, and the special effects were absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Just call Quake. Quake. Forget the actor's name, and to be honest, forget his name. Ian Maxey. Apparently, it was founded in Liverpool. Oh, that's the Meccano thing, isn't it? Yeah, the Meccano. Yeah, it's up in there, which was I tell you, the fella who founded it, I gave a talk up in McGull. Frank, I forget his second name, Frank someone, and I gave a talk at this parish hall, and he said, Frank Hornby, and he said to me, have you ever heard of Frank Hornby? I said, oh well, yeah. Great designer, great little engineer, if you like little engineering.
Exactly.
He said, "Oh, would you like to see his grave?" And I went, "Yeah, okay." So I went. I said to him, "I said, go away, is he dead?" He said, "Oh, yes, he's been dead for a long time now." I said, "I was only joking, you know what I mean." So anyway, he brought me around, and you want to see his tomb? It's fantastic. I went, "Wow." So Frank Hornby, people don't realise. Do you ever remember Flight of the Phoenix with James Stewart?
Yeah, the original was superb.
Yeah, fantastic. And where you have the German, I'll have to take that. It's my daughter. Hey, babe. Yeah. Well, the match is on. Oh, have you? Okay. It's up to you. Yeah. I found a packet of crisps. Oh, I'm all right till tomorrow. You wouldn't believe that, would you? But yeah, I had a pack, an empty packet, loaf packet, if you know what I mean. You do your bread. So I had it on there, and I was going to put something in it, and I just left it. And then when I went to move to put this thing in, like a few days later, like this morning, for example, there was a packet of crisps. so made up for that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. I get them inside my nose. Yeah, I get them. So it's hereditary, France. Yeah, you'll have a big nose tonight. Anyway, Francine, I'm on there. I'm doing my podcast, my film. Yeah. No muted, so no one knows. Well, do you want to come down today then? Okay, babe. Okay, okay. Yeah. All right. See you later. Ta-ra, baby. Ta-ra. Do you know what she said? Have you muted me? Oh, great efforts, love it. Have you muted me? Kick me head in. Yeah, look, Ian Mac. Apparently, it was founded in Liverpool. Another first for our city. Yes, Ian Mac. Yes, indeed.
It was a great choice.
What?
It was a great thing, Meccano.
Oh,
You know, you used to just build stuff out of it.
Yeah.
Incredible fun.
Absolutely. 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 You know, like you build things, don't you? But you can build even that Lego.
Yeah.
You know, how simple was that? Whoever had the brains, you know, the likes of McCarthy, making little cars as well, you know, things like that. Fantastic.
It's become a big business.
As I said about Flight of the Phoenix, where R.G. Kruger, you know, played the German, and he made the plane when they were all saying, you know, make planes, and when they found out that he was a model plane maker.
That's right.
Fantastic.
But it works.
Oh, fantastic. Love that. Brilliant. That was a clever film as well.
Oh, it was good. I mean, it was a good story. So, you know, easy to take it at face value, as it were. Only the stuntman killed at the end when you see the plane flying and landing over the sand dune, as it were. Apparently, the guy didn't make it.
Charlie the Wood says, that should say Corporal Jones. Don't you just love predictive text?
Absolutely.
Carries on by saying, Inception is
Yeah.
is a clever film, but you can get lost if you make a cup of tea. Yes. You have no idea.
Yeah.
But you
I really like that.
Yeah. You just pause. I always pause now. And if, as I said about at the beginning, Derek, you know, whispering or you can't catch what they're saying, I just put the subtitles on, even just for that then couple of lines. Because I've caught what they've said.
And it's often good as well if it's a telephone conversation, sometimes, or somebody talking in another room. And it's relatively important, but you know, you really, unless you've got superb hearing, you can't necessarily catch it. It's really good then for following stuff that you're not really supposed to be able to hear.
Yeah. I just, have you enjoyed yourself today?
Me, yeah, I think it's been great. Really enjoyed it, mate.
I'm glad, you know.
Some great films.
So watch a few films for us, and I tell you what, if you don't mind,
okay,
watch Knowing. I know that the two, watch 3 films for me, and I want your opinions on them. Okay. You've got them there. You've got Knowing.
Yeah.
And the other, that's Nick Cage. You've got another film with Nick Cage in, and that's called Family Man, right?
Yeah.
When will you come on again? Will you come on next week?
I won't be able to do next week. It might be 2 or 3 weeks, but if that's
Oh,
okay.
So just watch them. And the third one, you've got them two down.
Yeah.
Is
On
non.
Frozen Ground.
Oh yeah, on Frozen Ground. True story. Yeah, watch that. Or
Yeah.
the 12th Man.
12th
Or
Man.
the 12th.
Sure.
You know, either or. True story. And give me your opinions on them when you're on again. If
Yeah.
you don't mind. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
And I'll just. Will P says of Ormby Railways. Yeah, that's right. And Will P, this is about me to ask you to pick you up in 3 days. That's right. Frank Carlyle was famous for his trains, says Charlie the Wood. Yes, he was. Blimey.
Double O game.
I used to have an engine.
Yeah.
You know, perfect green it was.
Mm.
Or was it red with a black? Oh, I forget now. No, it was green with a black funnel.
Mm.
You know, with the coal thing, you know, that moved. Perfect.
One of my uncles built a small, you could actually ride on railway in a loop around his back garden. So, you know, I'd be 5, 6 years old. It would be awesome. He'd sit on the front, it would woo woo, and we'd sit in the little carriages in the back, and it was absolutely awesome experience.
No, it is. It is. It is fantastic, you know, and that's the way. That's the way we are, you know. You know, kids growing up, and then, I've always said, we always take things for granted, and we never know the true value as children.
Mm.
Even in your teens, let's be honest.
Mm.
My first album was Please Please Me.
Oh, right.
Please Please Me.
Yeah.
The only thing of value that it did have, which I knew of value then was it was in pristine condition, and it was Blueberry Hill album
Oh,
signed by Fats.
yeah.
And do you know what it had? It had my name on. You know, it said "Best wishes, Frank." Fats. You know, Fats Domino. It wasn't to me. It was to this other person named Fred. But that went in. That went in the oven.
Oh,
Unfortunately, went in the oven and the split up. But that's. You're not muted, Frank. I know, but I told her about. There's it. And James Mack, just dropping in. Hello, Frank. Interesting as always. Thank you, James. We're finishing now, James. We've had a fantastic. We had John Cusack on from Hollywood. He left about half an hour ago. He just tuned in, talking about his latest film. And it's a pity if you replay it back. The show, you'll be able to listen to John Cusack. And he actually mentioned you as well. He says, how's that James Mack getting on? I said, oh, he's all right, you know what I mean? So just play it back and listen to John about his new film. Charlie Wood says, just imagine in 20 years the kids will have a pod about video game. Yes, that is good. Because you've got
Space Invaders. We don't talk about Space Invaders.
Honestly, God. And Darrell the Merry says, come on, Reds 5-0. That's what he says. And there's Will P laughing his head off, And You know, he's laughing his head off about John Cusack. And James laughs. Very good. Derek, thank you.
Oh, my pleasure, Frank. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and you're coming on Monday. Listen, people out there, Monday night, you know, the history show. I had Derek on for the first hour talking about music, and what we're actually talking about is how the classic culture, you know, moved into I'll put it this way, how the pop culture that we grew up with, you know, evolved from classical music. And Derek's got a lot of stuff on that, and it'll be
One thing to
fantastic.
talk about is how heavy metal has got its roots in Gustav Holst.
Gustav Holst, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
he's one of my the planets. Oh,
it's a straight line to the
wow,
point.
wow. Well, Gustav Holst is on unknown, knowing. Sorry, knowing
Oh, right.
Gustav Holst.
Yeah.
Oh, get in there. Love it. Brilliant. I can't wait for that now. Oh, Will says, great show again, Frank. Thank you, Will. And listen, Will, I go on Lullasat, you know. I go on there, but no one like comments, very rare comments. That's what I go on now until, you know, it comes on. Let me know, send me a message or any when the nuke's on, because it's down at the moment. And Mickey M says, let me take you down because I'm going to the pub to watch the game. Been late enough, the head's gone now. Thanks for streaming, lads. Thanks, Mickey M. Thank you, mate. You're a good lad. And that's what I mean. We get a lot of Lakers as well without saying anything. Yeah. Thanks, Frank and Derek and all, says Will P. Cheers, Will. You're a good man, honestly. And Mickey M, you'll never walk alone. Derek, thank you again. And all the chat, thank you for keeping Derek and myself, you know, company. And all wonderful comments. Absolutely wonderful comments today. And what I want next week, lads, if you don't mind, I think it'll just be me. Do me a favour. Think up your favourite films and what you like. You know, what's one of your best films? One of my best films I've seen is the Wild Bunch,
Oh, yeah.
and a scene in that which is I'll talk about it next week. I've seen it, James, because James says Interstellar, and a very good film by the late Donald Sutherland. Don't look now. I've seen the both of them. Interstellar. That's where that McConaughey fella, Matthew McConaughey, very good, very very good, and that's what it's like, in my opinion. Different dimensions. It really is. And Don't Look Now. That's set in Venice, Venezia, my kind of place. Don't Look Now. Yes. So you see what the chat are like. They're fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah. So hopefully I'll see you all on Monday. If not, see you definitely during the week with the pods. I've got a podcast today as well, which is a post match one. Me and JK will be on. Me and JK. And be brilliant. See, they're on still chat. Your first album you bought, mine was Farewell to the Kings by Rush on vinyl. I mentioned that, James, before my very first album. My very first record, I'll tell you what it was. Like, I was a kid, you know what I mean? And I went down to buy Please Please Me, you know when it came out on a single. And anyway, our kids were forced to come down with me. They're a lot older than me. So I went down to our Stevie and my Uncle Ronnie. Because he was around the same age as our Stevie, you know. Anyway, so he goes down there. I'm well younger than them. So he goes down to buy Please Please Me. And do you know what they made me? Do you know what they forced me to buy? Jimmy Justice.
Oh,
There's a rose in Spanish Harlem, you know that one?
I remember that.
And anyway, I got back. When I went to me, I started crying. I went, they made me buy this and I didn't want this. They had to go into town and kept buying me. Please, please me. But it was the album.
Mm.
So we won. And that Jimmy Justice, I always hated him. I never had a clue who Jimmy Justice was.
Oh, yeah.
Spanish Harlem. There is a rose in Spanish. Oh, incredible.
Most British singles were covers of American songs. Mine was Please Please Me, actually, the first album I bought.
What?
Please Please Me was the first album I bought.
Go away.
Yeah, and
Was
the
it-
Everly Brothers was the first single, Poor Jenny.
Wow. I always remember my Uncle Ronnie. He was always into Jackie Wilson.
Oh, brilliant.
My heart is broken, lonely teardrop. That's the way he used to sing,
Yeah,
Jackie Wilson. And
great quote.
that was constant playing.
Mm.
Went to a party once, right? You're going to love this before we finish. Went to a party, you know, and there was one record played all night. They had no other record. One, honest to God, they only had one record, this house. And do you know what it was?
Repeat.
No. No, well, Repeat is Jackie Wilson, is it? Because, you know, that was brilliant, that. But this, honestly, this is when I was a teenager. I was a teenager, yeah, or whatever age I was. I was a bopper then. And, well, so funny, this. So funny. And he was a fella asleep, you know, one of the lads. I think he was older, just a bit older than us, like that. Right, so as I said, there was only one record played all night. There was only the one. And this fella's asleep like that. And we're all going home. And the woman, you know, she got up. She got up out of bed, you know, to chase us all out. I've had enough of you lot. And she went like that to this fella. Like, here, get up, come on. And he went like, darling, I'm feeling kind of lonesome. That's what it was. That's what it was. Darling, all bloody night long. Oh, and honest, well, he done that woman woke him up. And that's right, I just started singing. Crazy days, lovely days, you know, peaceful days. And that's what we want. Yeah, look at that. Love vinyl, please me to Jimmy Justice. There's no justice. No, it wasn't justice for me. Oh, it's brilliant. And what year was this? Is this now you're asking? Oh, I think it was definitely in the 70s or the 80s. I'm not quite so sure now. No,
Oh,
Jimmy Darling, I think he's talking about. Darling. Frankie Miller. I was trying to think of his name.
Mid-70s.
Wow. Well, that's true. Derek, I'll have to go. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure, mate. Been a blast.
That's right. I'll see you Monday.
See you Monday. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Honest to God, thank you. Been brilliant. Thank you. And to the chat, listen, all you football fans, I'll see you about R5. R5 is the pod post-match. And Will P, see you again, mate. Thank you so much for dropping in. And James, say, sorry, darling, single. Yes. The best days of our lives. That's a film. Is that a film? The best days of our lives. It was a film.
It's only a 40. I remember seeing it actually. Must have been 50.
I think I have. Black and white.
The 50s movie definitely called that because I can remember going to see it.
Yeah. Because I think it was about people coming home from war and more peaceful. So I don't know. I could be wrong, but I have seen it. Thank you so much again, Derek. God blimey. And all the chat, I'll see you later on post-match. And see you again on Monday, which is the history show. And Derek again, classics and pop, be brilliant. And I've got some great historical fact stories as well. History, brilliant. Thank you. See you later, boys and girls.